It starts with calendars overlapping, endless calendars. Stadium tours and film shoots, press junkets and award shows, recording sessions and distant premieres. Katy Perry's schedule reads like a war map. Orlando Bloom's is no quieter. At first, it's thrilling. They FaceTime between continents, write love notes into lyrics and text messages. There's the buzz of constant motion, the intoxicating belief that distance is just a test one they'll pass, because what they have is real. But time zones don't care about romance. And slowly, something changes. Katy is on tour in Asia, thousands of miles from Orlando, who's filming in Europe. It's birthdays, holidays, firsts and lasts. Daisy's first real sentence happens over a phone call. A call Orlando doesn't hear it clearly. Katy pretends she didn't cry after. They're used to pretending now. The long-distance silence starts filling in where their words once lived. Not fights at, least not at first. Just absence. A kind of emotional thinning. The messages grow shorter. Calls become logistical. When? Are you landing? Did the assistant get your dress from Milan? Who has Daisy this weekend? No one's at fault. Not exactly. This is just what happens when two galaxies orbit different stars. To the public, they look radiant, smiling on red carpets, holding hands on yachts. But in between those carefully captured moments is a chasmate of jet lag, missed calls, and the bone-deep fatigue that even luxury can't erase. Katy once said in an interview, "We're doing the best we can." That's what love is, showing up, even when it's hard. But some days, neither of them really shows up. Not fully. Not the way they did when the cameras weren't watching. Katy comes home from a 14-city run and collapses into bed. Orlando walks in hours later, still wired from a late wrap on set. They kiss each other like co-workers passing in the break room. The passion that once made headlines now lives mostly in memory. Even their home changes. It becomes more like a hotel, lavish, tidy, but cold. Daisy's laughter echoes down marble hallways. Sometimes that's the only sound in the house. Katy tries to reignite things. She arranges surprise getaways weekends with no phones, no staff, just the three of them. They laugh, they cuddle. But always, the clock ticks too loud. The next departure hovers over them like fog. She starts writing against quiet ballads. Demos not meant for radio. One called Static has a lyric that goes, "I hear you in the hallway, but not in my heart." She never releases it. Meanwhile, Orlando leans into fatherhood. He wakes up early with Daisy, teaches her to make pancakes, takes long walks with her while Katy sleeps in, not because she doesn't want to help, but because she's empty. There's nothing left to give. Not right now. She cries in the shower, not because she's unloved, but because she doesn't know how to be loved like this. Orlando hears sometimes, but he doesn't know what to say, and so the quiet grows. They stop talking about music, about scripts, about ideas. The things that once connected them now feel like work. So they talk about Daisy, and only Daisy. She becomes the bridge they walk across to avoid the fractures in their own foundation. When Katy does interviews, she flashes that perfect smile, but the light behind it flickers. A reporter asks her about marriage plans. She says, "We're just enjoying the ride." But her voice strains just a little at the word ride. Like maybe she doesn't know who's driving anymore. Orlando, on his part, grows more stoic. He gives nothing away, talks about co-parenting joyfully, even though they're still technically together, still engaged, still posting birthday tributes and couple photos. But something's changed, and the fans feel it. The gossip sites start whispering. Sources close to the couple hint that things are strained. She's in the studio all night. He's flying out early. They've become ships passing. But Katy doesn't respond. Neither does Orlando. Their silence is strategic, controlled. But that's the thing about silence. Eventually, it stops being a strategy and starts becoming a symptom. And by the end of that long, restless year, both of them know. They're no longer living a shared life, just two adjacent ones. Orbiting, but not touching. There's a moment small, forgettable to anyone else that Katy would later replay in her mind like a glitch in the film. She's home, briefly. Orlando has just returned from a shoot in South Africa. They're both in the kitchen, making tea. Daisy runs between their legs, singing a nursery rhyme. It's peaceful, normal. And then Katy says softly, "I've been thinking about writing a children's album." Orlando doesn't respond. He doesn't even look up. He didn't hear her. Maybe he just didn't know what to say. Either way, the moment passes, and with it, something closes. Because that's what it had become, a life of missed cues. Not dramatic fights or fiery breakdowns, but endless misses. The sound of love misfiring. They used to talk for hours about art, the universe, love, fear. Now they default to schedules. Daisy's dentist appointment, whether the new nanny is working out, safe subjects, neutral zones, emotional knotty areas, and when emotion does break through, it comes out sideways. One night, Katy returns home to find Orlando has put Daisy to sleep without her. Again, she says nothing. But she lingers in the hallway, staring at the closed nursery door. She's missing moments, all of them. The firsts that can't be redone. She walks past Orlando in the hallway. He reaches for her hand, but she keeps moving. In the studio the next day, she records a rough version of a new track. The lyrics bleed through her. "I come home to a house full of echoes. The lights are on, but nobody's there, even in love. I'm still solo, still singing to a ghost who doesn't care." Her producer says it's too dark for a pop album. She doesn't argue. Meanwhile, Orlando is burying himself in scripts. New offers, new roles. He's traveling more. He posts vague inspirational quotes to Instagram. One reads, "A man becomes silent, not because he has nothing to say, but because no one hears him anymore." Fans swoon over the aesthetic. Katy doesn't like the post. By now, even the people closest to them are noticing. Their teams tread carefully. Publicists keep pushing for couple content photos, interviews, anything to stabilize the brand. But neither of them seems interested. They attend fewer events together. When they do appear, body language experts have a field day. Hands don't touch, eyes don't meet, forced smiles, tight shoulders. Still, they deny nothing, because to deny would be to admit. And they're not ready for that, not yet. Instead, they build emotional fences. Katy pours herself into motherhood. She takes Daisy on hikes, reads her fairy tales, paints with her in the sunroom. She creates a world for her daughter where nothing ever hurts, where everything is soft and gentle, but even children can sense tension. Daisy starts asking why Daddy isn't home. Why Mommy cries when she thinks no one's watching. Katy answers with lullabies. Orlando, on the other side of the world, is doing the same. He FaceTimes every night, tells Daisy about the stars above his hotel, sends her bedtime voice notes in. A pirate accent, he's trying. They both are. But trying isn't enough when the foundation's already cracked. There's a dinner private. No paparazzi. Just the two of them. A final effort, they dress up. The table is candlelit. The wine is aged. They talk about everything except the thing that's been between them for months. But when dessert comes, the silence creeps in like fog. Katy finally says it, quietly, a whisper. "Do you still love me, or do you just love who I used to be?" Orlando doesn't answer right away. He reaches for her hand, holds it. "I don't know anymore," he admits, and just like that, it breaks. Not with screams, not with drama. Just a soft, aching release of something they both knew but couldn't say until now. They finish dessert, they go home. They put Daisy to sleep. Then Katy sleeps in the guest room. The next day, she doesn't post. Neither does he. But behind closed doors, the conversations begin. About lawyers, about parenting schedules, about statements, about how to end something without destroying everything. Else because they still care deeply, fiercely, but love sometimes isn't enough. There's a term they use in therapy: emotional divorce. It happens long before the legal one, long before the press release or the headlines, and by now, they are already divorced in every way but name. What remains is the choreography how to move apart without making it look like collapse. The announcement comes not with a bang, but a carefully worded paragraph. After much reflection and care, we have decided to respectfully part ways. Our priority remains co-parenting our daughter with love, stability, and mutual respect. We ask for privacy as we navigate this transition. Posted at the same time on both their official social media accounts. Same font, same background. Same lack of room for speculation. And yet, the internet ignites, fans freeze. Comments flood in tears, disbelief, screenshots from happier times. New one writes, "They were the last couple I believed in." Another posts a clip from their engagement video set to sad music. Someone else edits together a TikTok theory. Clues we missed were they done all along. The silence before the storm was strategic. Now, the storm arrives anyway. Within hours, tabloids pull out the knives. Inside the quiet split was the breakup inevitable. Old quotes are dragged up. Paparazzi shots are re-examined like forensic evidence. Orlando's solo trip to Venice. Katy's lack of a ring at the awards show. The way they avoided eye contact during that one red carpet. In Cannes. Hindsight becomes weaponized. But beyond the headlines, something deeper stirs. It's not just about two celebrities breaking up. It's about the illusion breaking. About the collective fantasy we project onto people in love as. Well, when they're beautiful, famous, and glittered in fairy tale imagery. They were the pop princess and the poetic pirate. She in rhinestones, he in raw charisma. A blended family, a second chance, a baby born from both pain and hope. And now, it's just over. The documentaries start brewing. Gossip YouTubers post breakdowns. Body language analysts dissect farewell videos. Music fans wonder which songs on Katy's next album will be about this. Film fans ask if Orlando's new roles will reflect his changed life. But Katy and Orlando remain quiet. They don't clap back. They don't give interviews. They don't feed the machine. Instead, they move with quiet dignity. Katy takes Daisy to the ocean, posts a single image of her daughter's sandy footprints with the caption, "Still walking forward." Orlando shares a photo of a book Rilke poems, underlined in pencil. No caption. A week later, they're spotted together at Daisy's preschool. Smiling, speaking, parenting, not pretending, but not performing either. Just to people who once loved deeply, and now are choosing to evolve instead of erupt. But the story isn't quite over, because love, like theirs, doesn't just vanish. It echoes. It lingers in places fans don't see. In the love letters never posted. In the songs unreleased. In the vacations that ended in silence. In the bedtime stories. Read alone. The world keeps watching, waiting for one of them to break, to tell the real story. But maybe they already have. Not with tabloids or tell-alls, but with the way they walked away with care. A month after the announcement, Katy posts a lyric snippet to her Instagram story. White text on black background. Some hearts don't break. They bend so far, they forget the shape they started with. She deletes it within the hour, but it stays with the fans, just like the silence that came before it. And maybe that's the truth people miss in stories like these. Not all endings need a villain. Not all. Love stories end in fire. Some just end in quiet. In separate doorways, in gentle goodbyes whispered for the sake of a child. In a look exchanged across a preschool courtyard that says, "I'll always care." But we can't go back. In the quiet between tours, love wasn't destroyed. It simply changed form. From romantic to respectful. From nightly texts to shared calendars. From one home to two, and in that silence, what they didn't say maybe. They finally told the truth. Not every love story needs a perfect ending. Some just need to end kindly.